Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 to 24. New Revised Standard Version. Verse 1. After these things, God rested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. Verse 2, he said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you loved, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I shall show you. Verse 3, so Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took two of his men with him and his son Isaac. He cut the wood for the burnt offering and set out and went to the place in the distance that God had showed him. Verse 4, on the third day, Abraham looked up and saw the place far away. Verse 5, then Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you. Verse 6, Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac, and he himself carried the fire and the knife. So the two of them walked on together. Verse 7, Isaac said to his father Abraham, Father, and he said, Here am I, son. He said, The fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Verse 8, Abraham said, God himself will provide the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So the two of them walked on together. Verse 9, when they came to the place that God has shown him, Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order. He bound his son, Isaac, and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Verse 10, Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. Verse 11, but the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. Verse 12, he said, Do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Verse 13, and Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son. Verse 14, so Abraham called the place, The Lord will provide, as it is said to this day, on the mount of the Lord it shall be provided. Verse 15, the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven. Verse 16, and said, Be myself, I have sworn, says the Lord, because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son. Verse 17, I will indeed bless you, and I will make your offspring as numerous as the stars of heaven, as the sun that is on the seashore, and your offspring shall possess the gate of their enemies. Verse 18, and by your offspring shall all the nations of the earth gain blessing for themselves, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived at Beersheba. Verse 20, now after these things it was told Abraham, Milcah also has borne children to your brother Nahor. Verse 21, Uz the firstborn, Buz his brother, Kimuel the father of Aram. Verse 22, she said, Hazuk, Pildas, Jidlap, and Bituel. Verse 23, Bituel became the father of Rebekah. This 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. 24. Moreover, his concubine, whose name was Reuma, bore Tiba, Gaham, Tahas, and Maacah. Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 to 24, New Revised Standard Version.